Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope everyone's okay, inshallah. Let's begin. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير بك نستعين يا أرحم الراحمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي صدق الله العظيم. Jazakallah for attending the 14th session of the Effective Parenting series, inshallah. We're continuing today on the Islamic taqwa or motivation model as well. Before I begin, inshallah, like usual, my apologies for last week for not sending you the gifts. Inshallah, I'll be sending you those today along with today's session also. As usual, please put your email address in the chat section. And as we go along, inshallah, just obviously make it private, so obviously no one else can see that. So please put your email address in the chat section, starting from now. The other thing is, Jazakallah for all those who have sent the feedback and testimonials, really appreciate that. It just gives us more incentives and gives us more insight on something, in the areas which you are looking for. And inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us. The third, what I wanted to mention as well is I'm going to be kind of flying through the first bits today because I've already discussed that in detail over the last two sessions. So if you've missed, if you're attending this session for the first time or any of my sessions for the first time, then please do refer back to the previous ones as well, inshallah. They're on YouTube now. Just type in Academica Mentoring and you should be able to see them. So let's begin. Sorry, before we that, I just wanted to ask, how's everyone feeling today? Just put one word in the chat section how you're feeling today. Today is going to be a bit more interactive, and I'd like you to get more involved and really, kind of participate in the sessions rather than me kind of talking for, a couple of hours, inshallah. So today I would like you to get more engaged, inshallah, and participate. Any questions you have, inshallah, I will try and discuss and deal with them. I'll be getting a lot of your questions, inshallah, so I'll be discussing some of those today as well. So type to the chat section, two things. Number one, how are you feeling today? And also, can you put your name and where you're from, where you're actually logging in from today? So if you can do those two things, and I'll just shout out some of the comments as well. Some of you said I received the gifts for the past 4 weeks. Okay, my apologies. If you can type in Ilham, if you can type in your email address, it should be, unless your email is bouncing. Also check your spam. Also check your junk box, and if not, send me an email, inshallah, and I will forward that email to you. So my apologies for that as well. So we have Mimuna from Leicester. Who else have we got today? So can you type in section where you're from, your full name, and where you're from, inshallah. We've got Serene from London. Jazakallah khair. I mean, according to, there's probably about nearly 150, 160 people signed up, and 30% are from international. So I'm not sure where all the people are coming from. So I just wanted to kind of find out where you're all from. So excited about the gifts, inshallah. Yeah, I've got some really good emails I'm going to be sending you today. I'm going to be showing you at the end of this session as well. Inshallah, it's all about Hajj. So some of you mentioned about wanting more resources for children, things like that as well. So I did a bit of searches here and there. I'm going to be doing an amazing session next week for parents and children next week, inshallah. So please bring your children onto and get them all sitting around the laptop as well. So I'm going to be doing some amazing session on Hajj. It's not your typical what you do at Hajj time, but it's completely different to, it's more going to be more interactive. I'm going to be sending, inshallah, all of you resources prior to that as well. So inshallah, let's work on that. So we've got Ilham from India, Anisha from Leicester. Where's everyone else from? We've got 12 people logged in. Where's everyone else from? Okay, let's start. Bismillah. So just type it in, inshallah, and I will try to kind of go through this. For those who have just logged in, please do type in your email address for the gifts as well. If you haven't received it, send me an email. Maybe my email is not coming through to your system because of sometimes they have those spam filters and so forth as well. So please send me an email, and inshallah, I will respond that back to you. So Islamic Taqwa model, we talked about this, about us, what is motivation. We talked about that in detail over the last two sessions. We talked briefly about Islamic motivation theory and model, Taqwa model. Today, we're going to be kind of completing that also. We're going to go through the motivation Islamic course that will get you out of your soul-sucking slump. Motivation in the Quran Hadith, 7 hadiths about sabr for motivation, change management, and theory. I might postpone that if I don't get that change management theory today and do that not after Eid, inshallah Aziz. Talk about more about community in the community, why Rating Institute, and other relevant issues as well. I'll also be talking about the marriage course again, and I'm going to be giving you all the resources for those who stay at the end. I'm going to be copying and pasting that onto the chat section about all the resources for Hajj also, inshallah. So, and again, how do you contact with us? Facebook, Academica Mentoring Worldwide, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Skype. If you want to listen to parts 1, 2, and 3, they are now on YouTube, inshallah. Please spread the word. If you're not already on our WhatsApp groups, send me a message. It's the telephone number 0724 974 831. Inshallah Aziz, I will put you on to their group. If you want to look at our business websites, academicamentoring.com or the charity ratinginstitute.co.uk. And if you want, sorry, my apologies for that. If you want, you can also connect with me as well, and the email address is info@academicamentoring.com or info@ratinginstitute.co.uk for all charity related issues. More about myself. I have over 2 decades of experience gained in the global education sector. I'm also experienced education leadership, academic expert, director of education, senior education consultant, coach, mentor, teacher, trainer, and Cambridge examiner. I've worked in 7 different schools across the UK. I've worked in many schools in Emirates, United Arab Emirates, in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I've worked in Saudi Arabia as a principal, looking after almost 1,000 students and 150 staff. And I worked as a senior education consultant overseeing 3 academies, 9 schools, 5,000 students, and 400 staff as well. So that was part of my role. I've worked in all over the UK, London, Nottingham, Leicester, Manchester, Blackburn, Preston, Burnley, and so forth. So, I've got vast experience and I've supported nearly over 30 schools. I still work in the education sector, supporting schools, and then really developing them from going from being adequate or inadequate to good to outstanding as well. I've also been the chair for Rating Institute for nearly 14 years and worked in business, charity, international schools, consultancy, and much more. Over the last 2 years, alhamdulillah, we had nearly 2,000, actually it's 2,300 students have come into our courses from 30 different countries as well, and it's also growing as well to those who are attending the courses. I also have a coaching mentoring program. If you're going to go onto the website, I've got about 8-9 courses on there as well, inshallah. If anyone wants to join those courses, there's discounts available for those who attend these webinars and sessions as well. So please do get in contact with me as well. Alhamdulillah, we've set up a center of excellence here in Leicester, and we delivered nearly 70+ projects from March 2019 to, October 2019 to March 2020. We were on target to deliver nearly 150 projects, activities, courses, workshops in 2020, but due to COVID, we've kind of gone and taken these courses online. If you want to participate and work with us, be part of the project, or set up an organization in your locality or something similar to that, get in contact with me, and inshallah, doesn't matter where you are in the world, we can support you on those projects as well. Currently helping people in Brunei, Malaysia, India, Canada, America, Trinidad and Tobago, many schools in the UK, alhamdulillah, and we can help you with funding and also all those kinds of things as well if you want to set up something. I also talked about last week that I'll be setting up on the Rating Institute website free education resources. There's going to be 2 tiers. One is a basic tier and one the higher tier. If any teachers out there, professionals who are in the academic field are qualified, I know some of you already contacted me. Yes, I will be getting back to you in the next couple of weeks once the new website's up and running. Inshallah, by the end of this month, the new Radio Institute website will be up and running with all the membership site and things like that as well. It's going to be completely revolutionary, where we're not just going to be looking at your academic prowess or things like, you know, Islam, your English, math, science, or history, geography. We'll be looking at key skills, life skills, with an Islamic twist and an ethos within that as well. So, and it's going to be, inshallah, Quran and Sunnah compliant as well. So not only are you gaining the necessary statutory guidance, or you're going to be looking at resources which are going to help you, but it's also looking at it from an Islamic perspective as well. So it's something that, you know, we have been kind of pondering over the last few years. I just need a team of maybe 10, 12 people to work with me. Currently, I've got about 4 people that are interested in this particular project. It is freelance, but imagine the time and money I'm spending on this as well. Inshallah, if we do have finances, we'll pay you for your services also. So this is a freelance project. And if anyone wants to contribute, you can get involved, inshallah. So we talked about why do we lack motivation? Why is it that, you know, we sometimes are not motivated, you know, in order to progress in our life, to do more Islamically? What is the purpose and what is the why that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created it, and what is our true purpose in life? So I talked about that in detail over the last couple of sessions. Moving on for the motivation, we talked about what motivation is, to provide with the motives, insight, impelled to move forward. You know, so, and it's the act of motivating, providing incentives, moving forward, really. Definitions of motivation, I talked about Young, Morgan, King, Underwood, and Guilford. And it's really important that motivation is the prowess of arousing the action, sustaining the activity in process, and regulating the pattern of activity. So it's really, really important that we keep on moving, because it derives from the Latin word movere, which means to move or to energize or to activate. So if you're not consistently moving forward, it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what background you're from, it doesn't matter which country you're in, you need to really keep moving forward. And one of the things I did mention about, one of the areas I did mention about, is about education. And because I'm so passionate about education, because it's my field, I always say, learn everything and anything that you need to learn. Okay, it doesn't matter. You never know when that information is going to be beneficial to you. We talked about natures of motivation based on motives affected by motivating, goal-directed behavior related to satisfaction, person motivated in totality, complex process. We talked about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation as well. And I'm sure by session 14, we have now gone from moving on from extrinsic to more intrinsic. You want to do things because it's intrinsically inside yourself, not because you're gaining a reward. Inshallah, your reward will be from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. And again, intention is very, very important as well. So if you haven't made an intention, make an intention right now. Inshallah, I'm going to be doing things for the sake of Allah, not for any recommendations or validations and so forth. And you will see your whole mindset and behavior will change also. Let me read some of your comments. Okay, so we've got Jabiria, where are you from? Just type in the session. It is one of the most positive and helpful Zoom series I've done. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah for your comments. I would like you to get involved in the freelance project. Just caught the tail end. Need more info, as was completing Zohar Salah, so missed the beginning. Yeah, it's basically what we're trying to achieve is looking at for academics. It's not difficult. You don't have to be a qualified teacher, but it just does help because of the language that I use. What we're trying to achieve is it's the first ever website, inshallah, that will be created to provide resources for everyone and anyone around the world. So it'll be a basic, so we'll provide basic resources for you, but there'll also be an advanced portal as well for those who want more resources and so forth. I'm not going to be talking about that today, but inshallah, those who are interested, I'll be setting up the Zoom session in the next couple of weeks to go through the entire process and how this works. So those who are interested, just send me a message or send me an email. So I'm interested. I will send you the link for the Zoom session, and inshallah, we'll discuss more of that in detail. Those of you who just joined in, there's kind of several people have joined in. And again, at the end of each session, I give out free gifts as well. So those who stay behind until the end will receive the free gifts, inshallah. I'm also going to be talking about the marriage course, which I'm really excited about, inshallah, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. I've already discussed this with a few people and they're really motivated. And I think I've got people from all over the country, inshallah, attending that course as well. I do have limited spaces, only 40, 24 male, 24 female. And I'm copying that because this is a beta version as well. The other thing is I'm going to be talking about some of the resources some of you requested regarding Hajj for yourself and your kids, inshallah. I've got, alhamdulillah, vast experience of Hajj. You know, I've been, not only have I gone Hajj several times, I've also led huge groups of between 40 to 120 people. And I can give you all the ins and outs of Hajj, and inshallah, I'll be discussing that in detail next week. But I want to do a special session next week, which is for not just for adults, for children as well. So if you've got kids, I know they won't be able to sit for that long. So I'm going to be hoping to send you some resources, and we'll be going through those resources, and they can be doing those activities as I am talking through the session as well. So there'll be two parts of the session. One is for the adults and one is for the children, inshallah al-aziz. So we talked about kinds of motivation, positive and negative, and external, basic versus learned. You can learn motivational theories. You can change your mindset to become this amazing person. And, you know, people have always asked me, I'll give an example, is one of my deputy heads is a brother called Brother Ibrahim he was from Ghana, mashallah. Amazing brother that I knew. He was almost like 20 years older than me. And I used to use certain languages and because I like using abbreviations as a head teacher. And this is to do with international, you know, vocabulary and so forth. And he always used to, even my director of Barrett used to say to me, you know, Brother Muhammad, why are you using all these, you know, keywords and mnemonics and everything else? And I said, because I'm educating people, not just through my actions and through my body language, but it's also the way I speak. And it's quite interesting. It was really a funny moment that we had. So the first 3 months, and then people used to get frustrated and say, you know, what does this mean? What does that mean? So instead of saying a head of departments, I would just say HODs or SLT, senior leadership team, or something similar to that, like teacher training would just say TT, or we're having TT this week. So, and again, it's, you know, using, and then my deputy head, Brother Ibrahim, he used to get really frustrated but slowly, but I keep on being persistent in everything that I did. You know, and the staff started to speak that language, and it made a huge difference because in my, you know, staff meetings and in my training sessions, you know, external people who come in, they would like, you know, what is he talking about? But my staff completely understood what I was talking in the language I was using, and it's all educational language. So, and then even the students started to understand because the teachers were using it in the classrooms, and so therefore we had this one vision that we were trying to move forward with. Anyway, moving forward 3 months down the line, this was in like December, it was the last day, we had a presentation evening, just the staff, you know, the director of education was there, the CEO was there, and I had to give a bit of a speech. And then my deputy head, vice principal, not deputy, sorry, vice principal, he gave a small speech as well. And it was really funny because when he gave his speech, he used the language I would use. And every single person in the school, it's like over 150 staff, you know, started to kind of smile and laugh and saying, that's not you talking, that's Brother Muhammad talking. But that's all about motivation. That's all about using the language, being positive, you know, and it's also about instilling positive, creating a positive environment in your house. And your mindset has to be positive. Sometimes, yes, we're ill, you know, financial hardships, we don't like our boss, but change it. If you're in a position right now where the health is not improving, then one of the biggest things you do is pray to Allah about hope, because there's a cure for everything. Okay, and you have to keep on going. It could be 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. It doesn't matter, because every single time you are going through those obstacles, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forgiving your sins. If we had known, if we on the Day of Judgment, if we had known that the illness that we're going through and how many sins Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgiven for every time, we would, like, you know, according to various sources, it said we would get our skin and we would peel our skin off. You know, that's how much pain we would endure because of the reward in the hereafter. And if you look at the Sahabas as well, you know, they went through so much. You know, there's a story of, which I always love, this amazing story about mindset and motivation of Umar ibn al-Khattab, and, you know, the second caliph. He was, you know, performing his salah. I can't, you know, nafil, this, I think nafil salah or something. And, you know, from the armies, one of the armies threw an arrow and hit his leg. But he was so engrossed and motivated in the remembrance of Allah and his connection to Allah, he didn't even feel the arrow inside him. You know, and we worry about, oh, the ACs are not working, or it's too hot, or there's a smell in this room. You know, where is our motivation? And there's this story which I mentioned a few times, but I'll just repeat that again for those who have just joined. It's like, you know, a person came to the Imam and he said, Imam, I'm not going to come to the masjid anymore. So the Imam asked, why? So he said, because, you know, when I come, I hear people talking, gossiping, laughing, joking. This is not what the masjid's about. So the Imam goes, okay, before you make that decision, what I would like you to do is I would like you to just do one thing for me, inshallah, the next time you come for Salah or Salatul Jummah or whichever masjid you come. So I want you to do one thing for me, inshallah. And then we can have a discussion and then you can make a decision on that. So he said, okay, fine, because what do you want me to do? Is I want you to get a glass of water. I want you to fill that glass of water to the brim, okay, to the top, all the way to the top. And then when you go to the masjid that day, I want you to go with that glass of water and I want you to go from wherever to the back to all the way to the front without spilling even a single drop of that water. So the brother goes, okay, you know, but what's that going to achieve? He goes, just do that, and then inshallah come back to me the next time. So the next time he went to the masjid, this is what he did: got a glass of water, went from the back all the way to the front, sat at the front, you know, without spilling a drop of water, and so forth. And then the next time, he went to see the Imam later on after that, and he said, so Imam spoke to me, because so when you took that water from the end to the front, what did you know? How did you feel? You know, what did you see? Because I didn't see anything or feel anything, because I was so motivated in not spilling a drop of water that I couldn't hear the noise or anything. I was just literally focused on the water. So this is the Imam then said, so this is how we need to be all the time. You know, we're here for truly for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. And again, if we look at that as a life lesson, we need to look at and block out all the noise in our life. People who are toxic, people who are negative, people who are not performing salah. And I see, you know, keyboard warriors on the internet complaining about his sister not wearing hijab, or this sister wearing these kind of clothes, or this person not praying, brothers doing drugs, you know, and all kinds of stuff. And I said, look, it's not about your relationship. You don't know why that person's doing that. You know, and I talked about that person, you know, in the, you know, during the Ottoman era, who was, you know, he was going into pubs and clubs and taking women for the night, and people assumed he was a drunkard, people assumed he's drinking alcohol, and people assumed he was into, you know, prostitution and that. And only his wife knew that he was buying all the liquor, he's working during the day, buying all the liquor, buying all the alcohol and pouring it down the drains. You know, and he was so content with what he was doing that he was saving one person's life. He was saving one person's life. You know, and it's not all about, if I do something for you, I want something in return. And this is one of the true amazing things my Sheikh said to me is, you know, Muhammad, Maulana, you know, just do things for the sake of Allah, nothing in return. So you don't pray this and pray this because you want this and this and that. Purely because we should have the shukr, we should have be so grateful and have so much gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the fact is He's given us food, the fact is He's given us health, the fact is He's given us roof over our heads. Yes, 3 billion plus people that haven't even got that. So just showing gratefulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah also mentions, remember me, I will remember you. So the more you remember Allah in everything you do, everything can be ibadah. Imagine that people say how it's not just about sitting on the musalla and talking to Allah during salah. It's about how you eat, reading Bismillah, and get those values instilled in your children as well. Okay, so it's really, really important that we understand that all this motivation, we can learn that, and we have to look at education. We need to look at all the series. We need to look at what does Quran say, what does Sunnah say, and every single day, like I said, read the Quran. The Quran is the most complete book manual that you will find. You know, you want to talk about anything and everything, look at the Quran and Sunnah. So if you don't find it, then connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you that wisdom, and your soul will see the Quran. It's by almost like reading between the lines. You know, it was some amazing things that happened to me as well. Sometimes being an alim, you know, I've been an alim for nearly 23 years. And sometimes I have problems in life, and I think, okay, what is this problem? How do I solve? What is the outcome? What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trying to teach me here? And it's not looking at negatively, oh, why is it happening to me? Oh, I wish it wasn't me. You know, why is this person just committing sin? Look, there's nothing's happening to him. No, it's nothing to do with, you know, you and them. Yeah, because Allah's nizam, Allah's system is completely different. It's your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My husband is not practicing. My kids don't listen to me. Why? Are you truly connected to Allah? And if you are, I will almost guarantee you, your kids will connect, your husband will connect. Because the positive energy that you will ooze will have a massive, tremendous effect on them. I'll give you an example. People accepted Islam at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and you know, time of Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ashab Kiram and the Tabi'in, not because they were giving dawah to people. Yes, that was happening. It's because of the true characteristics of people during that time. People accepted Islam just by looking at the Prophet ﷺ. They knew this person cannot be a liar. This person is the truth. This person has to be the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we see so many times that dua is so important that the Prophet ﷺ make one dua and it would change the complete history of that person. And then we know the story of Umar ibn al-Khattab, and you know, his story, the Prophet ﷺ made a dua that make either Abu Jahl or Umar ibn al-Khattab, one of them, accept Islam. And just by that dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted the dua of Umar ibn al-Khattab, who was on his way to slay the Prophet ﷺ. You know, so even our enemies, nothing can harm you, nothing can penetrate you. You know, my sheikh always says this as well, whether it's, you talk about, you know, people, every time they have problems, they say, oh, it's jinn, you know, this asarat of jinn, or I've got someone who's done nazar. So yes, all that happens, but all happens with the will of Allah. But if you're truly connected, nothing, you're like a superpower. It's almost like you've got superpowers. And if you want those superpowers, inshallah, connect to Allah. Okay, so connect to Allah, you know, make dua as frequently and often as you can, and just to be grateful. You'll see, once you be grateful, people have done wrong to you, forgive them. No matter how much is hurting you inside, no how much hurt, because it's almost like looking at that person is doing something to you. What that person is doing is making you, if you're, the more hatred you're having, the more blackness of your heart is happening, and therefore the penetration of Iman can't hit you. So again, who is it a disadvantage to? Not them, it's you, because you're having the enmity and the hatred. You need to cleanse your heart. So forgive them, you know, pray for them. Because when you pray for them, that in a sure certain way of your dua being accepted is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, you know, sorry, the angels will say, Ameen. Okay, wa anta. In other words, if you make dua that Allah give my enemy an amazing house, the angels are going to say, you know, and inshallah, imagine that dua is accepted. Also, your enemy is going to get that, that's fine. Okay, but imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also gives them hidayah. Okay, a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which I'm going to mention, and I mention this all the time to people. It's such a brilliant, all the hadiths are brilliant, all the Quranic verses are brilliant, but this one is amazing that I always refer this to a lot of people. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions, "Ihbib habibaka hawnamma, asa an yakuna baghiduka yawmamma." The hadith, the translation of the meaning of the hadith is, do not be so involved and in love and to have that, you know, intense, ingrained friendship with someone that one day they become your enemy. So why did that person become your enemy? And we see family feuds happening as well, because we're so into each other, and then one thing, little thing kicks off, and all of a sudden you're enemies for life. And the second part of the hadith says, do not have enmity to someone to that certain extent that it could be that possibly one day that person becomes your best friend, and so forth. So we need to understand the relationship of balance. And again, in your ibadah, there needs to be balance, inshallah. Okay, so anyway, going back to the story of the Ottoman Empire, and the person made the dua that, inshallah, I'm not worried about people accusing me of, adultery or drinking alcohol. Inshallah, the Sultan at the time, inshallah, will read my janazah. And everyone thought this person was insane. And we need to understand that towards, when the person died and his body was lying on the ground, the Sultan at that particular time wanted to go and see his whole, the people. He wanted to go and see the people. So he went through this village, saw his body, and saying, he asked the people, what's this person doing here? Why is no one picked up his body? Because he started to smell, stench, and everything else. So people said, oh, he was a drunkard and he was into prostitution and all that kind of stuff. So the Sultan said, look, there's something more to this. This doesn't make sense. So he went to his house, spoke to his wife, and said, who is this person? So obviously they found out who this person was, went to his house, and they said, this person, he never used to drink. He just used to he never used to drink, never used to do prostitution. All he was doing is, helping people that they did commit one less sin per day. And he used to, pour all the alcohol down the drains. He used to take the women, but he never used to do anything with them. He just, that one less day, they would do prostitution. And he always said that the Sultan will, pray my janazah. And, the whole congregation was in tears, and the Sultan, did his janazah and so forth. Can you see? Now, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. We do what is right, because it's not our connection with the general public, it's our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? But you have to have that incitement, excitement, the power, the recognition, the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some of your comments, again, keep on coming up with the comments as well, inshallah. Somebody's signing on the tablet. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, please do send, like I said, your email addresses, and if you've just joined, to receive the grace result, which I'll be giving you towards the end today as well. We talked about Islamic motivation theory, and again, that differs from the Western perspectives as well. And I'm going to be talking more about Khawf al-Raja today. So the Taqwa model, we looked at external, internal stimuli. So in order to truly be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need an internal, external stimuli, which is, it could be things like, I'm doing this because I want Jannah, I'm doing this because Allah will bless me, I'm doing this because I want a spouse, I want a husband, I want it because I want my children. So you're looking at external stimuli. Or it could be internally that I want to be happy, I want to be truly connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Taqwa model works by having an external, internal stimuli. So that's the first thing. And I talked about that in detail last week. Then the second part of that is fear of Allah and avoiding the forbidden. Okay, and that truly gets you into the taqwa. So that's amar bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar. So truly connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I talked about sins. We are going to sin, which is human nature. Wa kana al insanu ajula. Quran mentions so many different verses on the weakness of man. وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانَ ضَعِيفًا وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانَ عَجُولًا. It talks about the amana that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to human beings and so forth. And this is why when we study the Quran, we see that the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolutely phenomenal. If you could even just sense the mercy of Allah, you would think, wow, this is just an amazing, how can people not listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How can not people believe in Islam? And those who attended watched my series I did last Saturday. I'm going to be doing one this Saturday as well, inshallah. So keeping tabs of my WhatsApp group. I'll be posting that. I'll be doing this global seminar with the people likes of Yusuf Chambers, brother Muhammad from Auckland, New Zealand. I've got a brother from America, brother Romani from Malaysia. So we've got different people attending that. So I'll be giving you some insights on different. We were talking about gaming and all that kind of stuff last week. So please log on to that one as well. I'll be trying to do more series, more people, inshallah, as much as I can, and providing as much information as I can. So taqwa model again. Number 2 is fear of Allah, avoiding the forbidden. It's really, really important that we refrain from that, because in order for that to cleanse ourselves, we need to be looking at that as well. The third thing we talked about was behavior that removes in the previous state. So again, we talked about states. So you're in your current state at the moment. You want to change into your desired states. Now, I'm not talking about goals here. Remember, there's two things. One is goals and one is states. States you can change instantly. If you're unhappy, you can be happy. If you're demotivated, you can be motivated. If you're sad, you can be happy. If you're angry, you can cool down. Okay, and Allah, the Quran Hadith mentions how to go from current states, which is not the desired state, to the new state. It's very, very easy to do. Okay, and those who are in my coaching program, inshallah, I'll be hoping that I will be able to remove those negative states from you and move into the positive states. Okay, so again, it's really important, like things like, let's give an example. If you're angry, that the hadith mentions, if you're angry, you're standing up, sit down. If you're sitting down, lie down. Okay, so that's moving from one state to another. And if you're angry, go and do wudu, because anger is from shaitan. And what shaitan wants you to do is get the heat inside you. And what does water do? Water extinguishes the heat and it calms you down as well. So it's really important that we understand to change from current state to a new state. If you're unhappy, you can easily be happy by changing the mindset and connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you will see, once you truly connect, doesn't matter what in life you go through, yeah, you'll think, alhamdulillah, this is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I gave an example to one of my clients last week. I said, imagine you're going out, you're rushing to get into a meeting or something, you go out of the door, you lock the door, and you get out and you realize, subhanallah, I forgot my keys. I forgot my mobile phone. So you open the door again, and then, you pick up your mobile phone from the table. And then, so that 10-second delay from forgetting your mobile phone, the inconvenience and the taklif that you have gained, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgiven your sins. So this is mercy, even in the delay, there's a mercy, subhanallah. Now imagine you are going to get into your car, you're going to go end of the street, there's a lunatic maniac who's going to drive 70 miles per hour in a 30 miles per hour zone. If you had gone 10 seconds early, he would have crashed into you, your car would have been right off, you wouldn't be able to work for the next 6 months, maybe you would have been laid off because long-term injury and so forth. So just because of that 10-second delay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved you. Okay, so we have to look at, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know what was around the corner. And this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He protects us. And I also talk about sadaqah and lillah. Every single day, 1 pence, 2 pence, 5 pence, 10 pence, as much as you can, pound, donate that to the path of Allah. Have 2 jars. One jar has got all the coins in it, maybe £200 worth of coins. You take the coin and put it into the new jar, and then keep an alternative. Once the jar is full, you just, whatever you've collected, £200, donate to that. And again, you can donate to our charity, and we give in several different areas. Okay, so we don't just fundraise for one particular area. Your donations are distributed amongst 7 areas, inshallah. Okay, so I think not many charities do that. This is what we do as well. There's our scholarships, and I'll be talking more about that later. So it's easy to change that state, and to protect yourself, and again, go from a bad state to a good state, give sadaqah. It's really important that you give sadaqah and lillah every single day. Do good deeds. Just pick up the phone, speak to your parents. It's a good deed. Talk to your children. Good deeds. Sit down with your husband. Do something fun. Yeah, don't just be like boring husband and wives. Sit down, have a laugh, have a joke. Do something together. It could be just cook together. Make a cake together. Go for a walk together. It could be anything. Okay, so change states, inshallah. And then the final one is the pleasant feeling for the end of the state of fear. So it's not just about fear. And unfortunately, and this is what I say in a lot of madrasas as well, and Islamic organizations, where it's everything's to be with the regressive or the negative state of a behavior. So for example, delayed, you got detention. If they are doing the homework, detention. If you haven't doing something positive, like you haven't done your homework at home, you're not going to get this, or they shout. No. Why is that happening? Why are we attaching positive things like homework and behavior and salah to negative states? Why are we saying, well, if you don't pray your salah, you're not going to get this? So what we're doing is attaching that salah into a negative state. So why do then kids don't want to pray salah? They don't want to go to madrasa. They don't want to see that ustad, because what you've done, what the madrasa or what the people have done, is attached to that amazing thing, which is to read the Quran, look at good deeds and looking at Islamic education, to a negative state. We should be saying, not attaching a negative saying. So things like, for example, I'll give you something that I did in one of my schools. So we had a large proportion of students that were not doing homework on time. They were not bringing in homework time. There's always excuses that, I couldn't do it because I had issues, I had guests over, or we moved in house, or I came home late, had madrasa, you know, and so many excuses, and something didn't add up, you know, and it's a large proportion I didn't understand. So I said, okay, instead of punishing these students, and I said to my staff, at the moment, just leave it, or just keep noting it in our incident forms that these students haven't, and we'll figure that out. Then what we did a survey. I sent a survey to all the parents and all the students. And I said, how many of you, I didn't say, why are you not doing homework? I said, how many of you got internet access at home? Just simple question, how many of you got internet access at home? And we found out that 36% of our students did not have internet access at home. And then teachers were giving students homework, okay, based on, you know, using internet, because we think it's a given, but not everyone has internet access. And we realized, and we did the correlation between those students who are not doing homework and those students who did not have internet access. And we realized that over 30% of the students who did not have internet access could not do the homework. Then we looked at how many students had older siblings. Then we looked at how many parents were educated, you know, spoke fluent English and everything else. And there's a massive correlation between these. So we then realized, right, this is unfair on those 35% of students who are not doing homework because they haven't got the resources and they haven't got the facilities. So again, remember this as well, that you can only achieve your state or your targets or your goals if you have the resources. So these students were not achieving academically because they never had the resources. So we need to understand that your children or yourself might not be able to get to a particular goal or a state because you haven't got the resources. Resources could be anything: physical, financial, even education, even the knowledge, even the way you live. So you need to understand that, and this is why it's important to have a coach. Alhamdulillah, last year alone, I had 6 coaches in different areas. 5 coaches, sorry, and my sheikh as well. So, you know, I considered my sheikh like a coach stroke spiritual coach, if you want to talk about that. So it's important. And yes, it's cost me thousands and thousands of pounds, but what it does, it solves a lot of the problems that we have. It solves the problem of negation or negative feeling and so forth. So this is really, really important that we understand that. But when we attach the state, so Salah has to give us a state of euphoria, euphoric feeling, and you know, an amazing feeling that if I don't pray my Salah, I don't feel very good. I feel ill, I feel down, I feel depressed. You know, even if you miss your Salah, as soon as, like, for example, you're going to sleep, put your alarm on, and all of a sudden, you know, you were so tired that day, you weren't feeling, and you'd completely never even heard your alarm, or you must have switched off your alarm, wake up straight away, do your wudu, and then pray, do your qada. Because qada is a form of tawbah. Now, those who haven't, they've missed a lot of Salah. What I would suggest is go back, guesstimate how many Fajrs, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha you've missed. So for example, let's say you're 40 years old, you believe that you became baligh at the age of puberty for, let's say, I'm just going to, easy calculation, we're going to look at the age of 10, okay? So that's 30 years that of Salah that you are accountable for. Now, let's say you've prayed or you performed 10 years of that Salah and you missed 20 years. So what I would suggest is you add the 20 years, so 20 years times 365 days times, you know, each Salah, so then you calculate. So you could work out 5,000, 10,000, whatever. And then each day, when you perform your Salah, do your qada as well. So you started doing your nawafil, or the sunans which are ghair muqadda, do your qada instead. Because your qada is a form of tawbah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves tawbah. He absolutely loves people who do tawbah. And I'm not saying this, a hadith mentioned in hadith, that Allah will destroy a nation if they were not committing sins, and create a nation that would commit sins and ask for repentance. That doesn't mean you go and commit sins, by the way, but can you see how you can easily turn your life around? If you're not giving zakah and sadaqah lillah, start giving that. Don't fear poverty. Don't fear, I've only got 10 pounds. You know, I've come across in my life, you know, throughout my life, even though with the advanced education Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me, being an alim, I had 13 pounds in my pocket. I didn't know when I was going to pay my rent, or I was going to pay my bills, or I didn't know when I was going to put food on the table for my family. I had no idea. And you know, then I remember the verses of the Quran and Hadith, and as Allah says, remember me, I remember you, you know, and perform Salah. So I then spoke to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I said, look, Allah, you know what my situation is. Okay, I don't want to go and borrow loans, and I don't want to do interest, and I don't do any of that. I don't want to ask people, it's embarrassing and so forth. So Allah, you help me. And I almost guarantee you something came up. And I'll give you a typical example in 2018, where it's October 2018, that, I had, many years ago, I had borrowed some money from people and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, it came to a point that, I was really stressed about it. I didn't know what to do. And then I spoke to my sheikh. Sheikh says, look, just connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so forth. So that's what I did. I just left it. And I just had faith. I just left to complete tawakkul to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the amount I needed was £5,000. So I said, oh, Ya Allah, look, I need £5,000. I don't know where to get that from. I don't want to ask people again. It's just, I just need to get this out of my system. So I made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I said, look, Allah, sort this out. Whichever means, Allah sort it out. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, I got a phone call from University of Leicester and says, Brother Muhammad, we need you to deliver a 2-day teacher training masterclass in the University of Leicester. And then I said, okay, so, how many people attending, this and that. So what's your cost? And then I said, my cost is for the 2 days, this amount of students, one-to-one support, everything else, resource materials and everything else, it's going to be £5,000. And subhanAllah, they said, yeah, that's fine. We agree to that. And then they put £5,000 into my account. And I said, Allah, you're so merciful. I'm so grateful that I don't even understand how this happens. And again, it's having that tawakkul. Sometimes it might come straight away. Sometimes it might be delayed. There was it was 3-4 months of that happening. It didn't come straight away. But that mindset shift in having complete faith, but then that state of euphoria was there. Allah, I have been so ungrateful to you. Allah, help me. Allah, bring the taqwa, get me more closer to you. And subhanallah, every time I have an issue now, I speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even when we set up a center of excellence, we were £25,000 in the red from October 2019 to December 2019 last year. And spoke to my business partner, and I said, what do we do? Do we borrow this? And he goes, look, just leave it to Allah. There's a reason for everything. This is happening because Allah's testing our patience. Allah's testing us and solidifying our heart, mind, and soul. And you won't believe, in January, alhamdulillah, in December, we had that winter retreat. We raised so much money in the winter retreat as well. Then with your kind donations, people started donating. Then we started having zikr majlis in our place as well. More people started attending. And all of a sudden, from January to March, we nearly had 45 students. Starting with 3 students, we had nothing. And then we had 30 students on the waiting list. We had 30 for September. And subhanAllah, like one thing after the other. And I said, Allah, I can't be more grateful. I'm not bothered about having thousands of students or making millions of pounds. I don't need that for myself. As long as you put food on the table and a roof of mine, I'm happy. And this project is not me. It's not about Maulana Muhammad, or, it's about you. I just want to be the servant of Allah. And whatever I can do by limited knowledge that I have, I want to now. And then even my financial situation, I said, I'm doing all these research. I'm doing all these free webinars and sessions. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling me, look, Muhammad, you just do. Don't worry about the money and the finances, everything. And with the mercy of Allah, I'm making more money right now doing free stuff than I was ever doing before. Allah's been given so much, barakah in my investments and everything that I do, my programs and the coaching and everything else. So I have that complete feeling. And sometimes I'm almost like I'm flying. It's amazing. And people in my family saying, what's wrong with you? Can you not sit? It's almost like, answering your pants kind of thing. So, subhanAllah, the more we connect, you'll just feel amazing. You'll just feel happy. You'll sleep well. Now, my health is, mashallah, improving as well. So again, this is truly to connect, because Allah has the shifa for everything. Okay? And Allah will send you those amazing people that will completely change around as well. Okay, so yeah, sorry, the Saturday webinars is only the one is on last week. It's on YouTube. If you want, send me a message or email. I will then send you that recording of that as well. The live session is this Saturday, 10 o'clock. I'll be putting that up, inshallah. The link comes up this Saturday as well. So I'll be talking more about some of the amazing, how to overcome certain issues as well, inshallah. So let's move on. So we talked about the taqwa model, and I talked about, we have things like the different Maslow's hierarchy. We talked about that, XY series model. All those models are there in terms of needs, necessity, but they don't have the main thing, which I talked about, the iman, the taqwa, the tahrid, and the tawbah. It doesn't have those. Therefore, from an Islamic perspective, we cannot be truly motivated because we don't have those essence, those elements are not in those theories because they're based on Western concepts and Western theories. So to a certain extent, yes, they're good with Maslow's hierarchy and Herzberg and XY theory and so forth, but it's not truly motivational because they don't have the several factors that we're talking about. And then we talked about, looking at the instinct theory, drive reduction theory, arousal theory, intrinsic, and inshallah, this theory here incorporates all that as well. And I talked more about that last week as well. And this leads to the good deeds and inshallah the ibadah and everything you do during the day. So if you're cleaning, at-tahuru shatrul iman, cleanliness is part of iman, so you're getting reward for that. You're smiling at your kids, you're getting reward for that. You're smiling at your parents, you're getting reward for that. You're having laughter and jokes with your children and your spouse, your husband and your parents, you're getting reward for that. You're walking in a particular way, like the Prophet ﷺ walked, okay, you're getting reward for that. You're sitting in your car, you make dua for travel, you're getting reward for that. You're eating, bismillah, you reward for that as well. And again, all these du'as, sit with your children and read. Read them out loud and get your children around the table or around the dastarkhan or whatever you're sitting and get every single child to read. Okay, so start off with the eldest one, and then, because the more you sit together is going to create that peace and harmony anyway, but the more you do, like if you're taking your children to the bathroom, then say, oh, okay, what's the dua for bathroom? And what I used to do at my house is, with my daughter, is I used to put stickers everywhere. So the small little stickers, I can try, inshallah, send you, cut those out, and then stick them on the bathroom door, for example. Stick them on the front door, stick them on when you go way out. Then you look at a set of instructions. So these small instructions and say, right, and then the kids, it's a reminder for them as well, make it like fluorescent and so forth. And so your whole house and your whole environment, subhanAllah, is, it's all about learning. And don't think about, oh yeah, but what this person was saying, no one cares because you're living in that house 24/7. It's your house. Don't think about, oh, I need to keep it clean because so-and-so will come and what will they say? No, if you're looking at the whole of Shatrul Iman, cleanliness, as long as it's clean, according to Islamic understanding, then that's fine. So where you got your shoe rack, put a dua there. You put with your right foot first and so forth. Entering the house, right foot. So put these little duas everywhere. Even if adults as well, sometimes we forget because we're human beings. So what you can do is put all these duas little everywhere, all these post-it notes everywhere that reminds you. And then inshallah, if you keep on doing this 30, 40, 50 days, then it become habitual. So like they say, ulama say, adat se ibadat ban jati hai. So we have an adat, which is, something which is a habit, then continuously doing that will become an ibadat, inshallah. So again, understand that, and that will only increase. Every part of your day will become based on the Quran and Sunnah. And imagine you're connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 24/7. Even when you're sleeping, okay? Even if you're sleeping, sleeping can be, when I talked about, sleeping can be ibadat as well. So always remember that as well. What I want to do, inshallah, is I want to show you a video. Which is about knowing yourself from, it's the works of Imam Ghazali. Let me see if I can.
The Alchemy of Happiness is a guide to transform the essence of man from his baseness to the purity of the angelic state.
So if you
this transformation is through
this chat section, if everyone can hear, just type in yes or no. Okay, good.
Increasing knowledge of God. However, before you can begin to know God, first you must know yourself. Knowing yourself starts with an understanding of the human being's two distinct components, the body and the heart, or more specifically, the spiritual heart. There are 5 steps to understand the heart. First, you must recognize its existence. Next, know that the heart works to seek happiness through knowledge of God. It acquires this knowledge through knowledge of God's creation. Next, know that the body is a kingdom, and within it, the limbs and organs are its workers. Appetite is the tax collector. Anger is the policeman. Intellect is the chief minister. And the heart is king. The body is in a constant spiritual struggle between being held captive by anger and appetite and using them as a mount and weapon to attain spiritual fulfillment. If the heart acts at the advice of the intellect and keeps anger and appetite under control, the path to happiness will be made accessible. But if the intellect becomes the prisoner of anger and appetite, the kingdom will become desolate and the heart will be destroyed. Know that appetite and anger were created to nourish and protect the body and are its servants. The body was built to bear the senses, and it is their servant. The senses were created for intelligence gathering and serve the intellect. The intellect was created as the lamp of the heart. Through its light, the heart may see the divine presence. Thus, the intellect is the servant of the heart. The heart was created to witness the beauty of the divine presence and is its servant. The heart has a number of qualities which can be grouped into 4 types: predatory attributes that find happiness in rage, destruction, and killing; bestial attributes, these seek happiness in eating, sleeping, and copulating; demonic attributes, these thrive on evil, treachery, and deceit; and angelic attributes, which seek happiness in the contemplation of the divine presence. To attain spiritual happiness, the angelic quality of intellect must master the predatory, bestial, and demonic qualities. Now that you know the qualities of the heart, know that the heart's nobility is what elevates humans above the rank of beasts. Nobility from knowledge has 2 degrees. One is gathered by the heart through a door that opens toward the 5 external senses, such as learning the arts and sciences. The other is acquired directly by the heart through a door that opens to the heavens and divine inspiration. Know that the heart is like a well and knowledge is like water. The 5 senses are streams that fill the well. At the base of the well is dirt. Beneath the well is a pure spring. This dirt is like a veil that blocks the heart from accessing divine inspiration. To fill your heart with the pure water that lay beneath it, you must block the streams and empty the water. You must then remove the dirt at the base of the well, which is achieved by the struggle of disciplining the soul. Only then will the fountain of never-ending knowledge burst through and fill your heart. In truth, people in this world are deficient and weak. The heart is constantly struggling to subjugate the body's base qualities to the intellect. This is done through the knowledge of God and its key, the knowledge of oneself, the heart, and its nobility. That elevates man from the rank of beasts to that of angels. That is the start of the alchemy of happiness.
So, just based on that, the cleanliness of the heart is really, really important. We need to understand that, the whole purpose, our existence is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our whole existence is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like Allah mentions in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Verily Allah did not create the mankind and the jinni, but for his worship. So every aspect of our day has to be in the remembrance of Allah and truly connect. And this is why Sufis, people don't understand Sufis because their connection, their understanding is completely different. Like I'm sure you all have heard of Qari Abdul Basit, one of the most renowned Qaris of our time. And one of the one of the, I was listening to one of the lectures by one of the sheikhs, and said he was so connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he used to do the Khatm al-Quran, one Khatm al-Quran every single day. He loved, his love for the Quran, his love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his love for the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was on a whole new spiritual level that we cannot contemplate. You understand? But then people complain, oh yeah, but he doesn't have a beard, or he doesn't have this, or he has, but you don't know his connection. Imagine me and you can't read every single one juz of Khatm al-Quran every single day. It will take you minimum 8-9 hours. If you read it at speed, not fast speed, and you manage to, I'm talking about complete one juz in 15 minutes, you can do it in 8 hours. If you're doing supersonic speed, then why would you want to do supersonic speed anyway? Because it doesn't make sense. Okay, but on average, it will take you on a fast speed 8 hours for those who are Hafiz. Those who are not Hafiz, it would take you probably 10, 12, 14 hours a day. And imagine what else you could get done. Now, if Sheikh Abdul Basit was reciting the Quran, the whole completion of one Quran per day, imagine his connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is why, you know, we need to connect to our shuyukh as well, our ulama. And, you know, it's really interesting. I put a video up that when, you know, we've seen so many huge senior scholars passing away. And one of the reasons it's given is because when the ulama are not respected, then, because remember, ulama are the waratha, the inheritors of the anbiya, or ulama warathatul anbiya, you know, and innama yakhshallah min ibadihi al-ulama. So these are the verse of Quran hadith that has mentioned that the ulama and the shuyukh are the ones who are connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're the guests and friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you hurt these people, okay, you're going to get all kinds of calamities and everything coming towards you. And then it comes to a point where when the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are consistently being bombarded and hurt and ridiculed, then Allah will say, you know what, I'm just going to call him back to me. Why should he be in this earth and stay with these people when all they are doing is being ridiculed? Okay, somebody's got a question. Sister Shamim, do you want to ask a question? Just unmute your mic. You've raised your hand. I'm getting a message. No. Okay. So again, it's really important that we understand the importance of connecting to shuyukh and ulama. And it is said as well that when an alim or a person connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in your locality, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes calamities, any destructions or anything like that from your locality for 40 days. Subhanallah. Imagine just the presence of the ulama removes calamities. And alhamdulillah, in Leicester, we're so blessed with so many senior scholars as well, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we need to be in connection with the ulama as much as we can. Before I go on to the next section, has anyone got any questions? I'm going to do a Q&A for the next 2-3 minutes. Anyone got any questions? Anyone wants to ask any questions? You can either put it in the chat section, inshallah, I'll try and respond to your question, or you can just unmute your mic. Yes, Siri. Assalamualaikum, Siri. Yeah, go ahead.
Assalamualaikum. Yeah, I just wanted to ask a quick question about the Hanafi school of thought and whether or not sujood shukr is acceptable or not.
Yes, why not?
Yeah, okay, because I've just you know, I have asked around, but I'm getting sort of mixed sort of opinions about it, and that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ didn't actually practice sujood al-shukr, but his companions did, and therefore it can be seen as a sunnah. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's you got to understand, like, I don't want to go into the technicalities of this. There's two types of bid'ah. You know, we talk about bid'ah. There's bid'atul hasana, which is good, and bid'ah sayyah. Now, if we start looking at everything from the literal perspective, that, oh, the Prophet ﷺ didn't do this, or the Sahabas didn't do this, then we shouldn't really be having things like carpet in masjid, because they never had carpets in those times. Okay, we shouldn't be building huge masajids because they never built huge masajids in the time. We shouldn't be having all these air conditioning and spotlights and fancy this and fancy that because they never had all that. So we need to understand that certain things are bid'at sayya, which is not permissible, and against that takes you out of towards going out of Islam. And the third, certain things which are bid'at hasana, which is good innovations. So for example, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there was no written Quran, but yet we have Qurans printed galore today. Okay, so these are all good things. They never had a formulation of a particular education system at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. This is used to go to the Prophet ﷺ and he used to give him the Nasiyah and Dawah and so forth. And there was no dictionaries. The Quran wasn't written at the time of the Prophet as well, even though there was written individually, but there was not a collation of the entire Quran like we have today. So we need to understand the difference between what is good, what is true innovation, and what is sayya, which is bad innovation. And I think it's by connecting to your scholars and shuyukh and things like that, that we get to know, because you get different variations, you get different people saying different things. What I would always suggest is have one or two or maybe three sheikhs that can answer your questions. Okay, I hope that helps, inshallah. Anyone got any other questions? You're quiet today. I said more interaction. Now I'm going to ask you to get more interactive. Okay, I'm going to ask any one of you a question, inshallah, and I'd like you to, inshallah, unmute your mic, please. Okay, let's start with Maharani. Maharani, can you unmute your mic, please? I think I need to get people more interactive instead of just me talking and you listening, inshallah. Do you want to ask a question, Maharani? Maryam, Nabila, Rabia, Salma, Sarah. Okay, everyone's gone quiet, mashallah. Okay, no one's asked a question. Anyone going to answer in the chat section? No. Okay, let's move on then. Subhanallah. Okay, so the total motivation model, we were discussing that last week, is, and again, we talked about, having iman, the level of iman, the connection, true connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not look at, I think what we've done is, unfortunately, is we've segregated materialism with spirituality. In other words, what we say is people who are rich, for example, oh, that person's rich, he's only bothered about dunya. No, you can have dunya and the akhirat at the same time. And I mentioned this last week that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنًا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنًا وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And we're saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying that when we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا, oh Allah, give me the dunya, in the world, hasana, good things. Doesn't necessarily mean, just like a house or food. It also means, things which you can look at. The Prophet ﷺ had, the best camel at the time. It was almost like your Ferrari of today. The Prophet ﷺ had a house. The Prophet ﷺ had utensils. Okay. Yes, he wasn't lavish because he didn't want to set a trend. And the Prophet liked poverty. Okay, because he wanted to be with, because the poor people will be entering Jannah first. So he wanted to be amongst the poor people. He wants to be amongst the people of his time who most of them did not have wealth. But people like Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, Umar, Uthman, these people had vast wealth, vast wealth, more wealth than me and you can probably even count. And one of the Sahabis, I can't remember which one he was, I think Mu'adh ibn Jabal or something, who had so much wealth that it was equivalent to 6 trillion pounds of today. Imagine 6 trillion, or is it 6 billion, one of them. But imagine having that kind of amount of wealth. Musa Mensa, some of you have heard of Musa Mensa. He had so much wealth that when he went to Hajj, he took his whole cavalry with him. And he gave gold and silver to everyone on his way. So having wealth, it's not a bad thing. But it's the attachment to that wealth. The wealth is just a byproduct. The wealth is not what you should be striving for, it's what you can do with that wealth. And then the second part of the verse says, وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنًا, that in the hereafter give me hasana, good things as well, وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ, and save me from the hellfire. So again, having that, there has to be that balance between the materialistic aspect okay, and the spiritual aspect. The materialism is to be gained for you to do shukr. So Allah has given you a 5-bedroom house, for example. Every single day you do shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has given you a nice car. You go in luxury to work or to the masjid, okay? Or you give people a lift to the masjid. Again, that is a source of ibadah. That's a source of amazing things. Allah's, like for example, Allah's given me wealth. I'm using it for giving you this, buying a laptop, doing this internet, you know, providing free education to people, setting up the excellent center of excellence and so forth. So the wealth itself is inherently, it's not bad. It's what you do with the wealth that makes it either good or bad. So we need to have that balance between the dunya and the akhirah. Similarly, in education, I've heard is so many people, unfortunately, it's out of slight ignorance, where we focus on either dunya or focus on deen. So you're making your children doctors, lawyers, accountants because you're following the dunyawi side. But if you then have that parallel Islamic side, so yes, you're an accountant, but you're also an alim. You're an engineer, you're also an alim. We need engineers and mechanics and doctors who are also secularly educated, but also Islamically educated. So we then know like what is the, the hukam of taking certain injections, for example. I can't give you the answer as an alim. No ulamas will be able to give you an answer about, for example, what's happened during COVID-19. It's unprecedented. Do we go to the masjid? Do we not go to the masjid? What's the reward for going to the masjid? Is this much we're praying? It's a pandemic, about doing salams, meeting people, and so forth. And so all these masails cannot sometimes necessarily be answered by the ulama. But if we have the ulama and at the same time, they are academics who understood the dunyawi knowledge, then they can give us the balanced argument. I hear this all the time, that my expertise lies in education, but I've also got the scholastic. So people ask me about education, I can give you the balanced argument and saying, yes, this I agree, this I don't agree. But if you tell me about medicine or you talk to me about certain like engineering or mechanics or something like that, I would say to you, I'm sorry, I'm not the right person. Even though I have knowledge about a particular subject, I'm not an expert. I'll give my opinion. I'll say, look, but I would also suggest you go to so and so and so. If you talk to me about sihr and jinn and atharat, I'm not an expert in these areas. I can give you, because I've been through the whole scenario with myself and my family and so forth, with my daughter, I can give you my opinion that this is what I did and this is how it's benefited me. But again, it's all about that true connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and really purifying your heart. So again, it's really important that do not differentiate between the two. Use both to implement each other, inshallah Aziz. Some of you got mentioned question. We are engrossed with what you are saying, alhamdulillah. I interviewed the sister from Kentucky, US, who has published the Ghazali teachings for children. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. Imam Ghazali's works, and I've gone through that in detail. I've been looking at spirituality in another session, inshallah, but not as part of this series. Okay, but it's really important that do not differentiate between the two. If your children if you want them to become, getting good grades, it's not the all end. Parents are obsessed with getting top grades. Okay, that's not the end all. It's about life skills. It's about them connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because why are we getting a good grade? So they can go to college, then they go on to university, then they can get a good job. And what is the ultimate purpose of a good job is to make good money. Okay, or to help people. Now imagine you've given that education where it's completely Islamically inclined with the attachment of the secular education, and they're going and they're doing 10 times more in terms of helping people and making more money, because the barakah it's not about accumulating wealth, it's about the barakah that you acquire from that. So you could be cleaning people's houses, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you so much barakah in that, because your intention is at-tahur shatrul iman, cleanliness part of iman, helping people, supporting people, that you will see so much barakah. So I'll give an example of barakah. So you could go to a town center. So let's say, for example, you wanted to buy a fridge freezer. Okay. Now the one you liked is costing £900 because it's got, it's got this and that feature, this and that. So, but if you have barakah in your life, then Allah will automatically send you to a particular shop or a website or something similar to that. Okay. and you will see that same model for like £400. The reason I'm saying this is because it happened to me. I bought a fridge, American fridge freezer, which cost £1,100. Subhanallah, I bought it for £400. So I even say this to my family, that your wealth has to be rizqan, halalan, tayyiba. It's not just that you halal, it's also tayyib. And I talked about this in detail about where you work, not cutting corners in your workplace, not cutting corners at home. It's like my colleague, my coach and mentor always says, it's how you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah, when you cook, have a smile on your face. There'll be barakah in the food. When you're cleaning, have a smile on your face. Don't think of it as a chore. You'll see barakah in the way you clean. And there'll be like a different fragrance of when you clean. Okay, when you're talking to your kids, oh, I just want to teach them English, math, science. No, sit with them and be happy that you're doing a good deed. This is ibadah. When you're talking to your husband, smile. You're talking to your wife, smile. You know, smiling is also sunnah. You get a reward for just smiling. You know, and using positive language. Do not use negative language like but and however and this and that. Use and again in negotiation techniques, you will see that do not use but in your conversations. You know, I liked working here, but the long hours are too long. I like working here, so you say I like working here, and I would like to reduce my hours because it's about quality of the work, not quantity. And you see, it's a difference of language. And we need to learn these skills. And I think, unfortunately, what we do is we don't learn these skills at a very young age. Anyway, going back to the total motivation model is when you seek your wealth as well, or your materialistic gain for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will see that will enhance your spiritual connection as well, inshallah al-aziz. Okay, that will increase your iman, that will increase your persona, that will increase your energy levels, that will increase your environment. And again, it's about setting your environment, which is almost directing you to the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so the next slide is, so again, going into Khawf Raja. Khawf Raja is fear and hope. Khawf is one of motivational notion of Imam Ghazali's Ihya al-Muddin scripture. Khawf means fear to the God, while Raja means yearning or hope only for the God. So we can't have one, just fear, 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 fear. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about other communities, which also I've seen, we have this notion that everything is about, you're going to go to hell. You're going to go to hell. If you don't pray your salah, you're going to go to hell. If you don't fast, you're going to go to hell. If you be naughty, you're going to go to, we instill this in our kids. You know, if you behave, Allah's going to be upset with you. Really? Is that how we're supposed to be talking to children? Is that how we have to have the mindset? Right? What about hope? Because Allah's wrath is 1%. His mercy is 99% or 70 times more. So the term khawf, based on the Arabic word khafa, which means being afraid, while raja comes from a word raja yarju, raja'an, which means yearning of hope. So we have to have that balance. And everything in life is about balance, which is about fear, yes, but it's also about hope. And if you can have that balance, you'll be always be happy, inshallah. And it's not haram, or it's not bad to be happy, because there's so many different verses in the Quran that allows us to be happy. Yeah, when you think of Allah, be happy. When we perform a salah, be happy. It's not about we think of Allah and we fear, or you know, Allah's na'udhu billah, na'udhu billah, na'udhu billah is like, oh, He's going to punish me. And we see that, you know, the verses of or the notion of punishment is less in the Quran than the punishment of hope, because Islam means to move forward. Islam means to submission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we move forward, this is part of motivation. This is where we have the intrinsic and the intrinsic motivation taking place. So it's really, really important that we have that balance between khawf or raja. Khawf or raja. You know, and it's not about one or the other. Now, some scholars say that during our youth, we should have khawf, and when we are older, we should have raja. Because when we are youth, we have that arrogance, we have that ego, we think we're invincible, we think because we've got the strength that we can do, so we can easily be led down the path of doing things which we're not supposed to do. And as we grow older, yeah, we have hope, because we know we can't do what we used to do in our youth. You know, we can't do some of the things that we wanted to do. So therefore, we are now saying, Allah, you know what, I'm actually at your mercy. I can't do all these things. So we'd like to do more ibadat and things like that, but we can't. But we can at least make a dua. And it's not about the quantity of your ibadah, it's about the quality of your ibadah. And this is really, really important as well. Where and how can we learn this language, Bahrani? How do I purchase the books? It's not a matter of learning the language. It's about looking at positive language, looking at, you know, kind of doing courses like I do this mindset course. And inshallah, as part of my 5-session webinar program, I change your mindset. And I look at, for example, your CVs. I read CVs. I used to read hundreds of CVs a week, you know, when I was working as a head principal. And the language is so negative. And I said, I cannot hire this person because of their mindset. You know, the language is all about just copy and paste job. You know, what about all the amazing things you've done? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful that, you know, every single one of you, inshallah, has got an amazing talent. Do you know what your purpose is? Do you know what your talent is? Do you know what your, you know, have you reached your full potential? And if you haven't, why not? Is it because you're holding your old self back? And you can't say, yeah, but because of my kids, I've got kids, I've got to look after my kids. Or because my parents didn't allow me to do this. Or my husband doesn't allow me to do this. If it's positive, you work around, you know, we say to children, I say to children, it's about problem solving. We use this word about problem solving. And what about adults? What about the problem solving in adults? You know, if you haven't been to university, what's stopping you to go to university right now? It doesn't mean you have to do a degree in 3 years. You can do it over 5 years. If you're really passionate about something, setting up a business, you know, we can have a conversation about that. Speak to me or come to one of my colleagues' workshops. You know, and so it's not, nothing's ever, I'm too old. Again, that's not true. I know people like, you know, you look at Colonel Sanders, he set it up his KFC, I think when he was in his 60s. You know, Donald Trump became, you know, president at the age of 70 plus or something. So age is just a number. It's about in your mindset, you can do anything that you want to do. And again, Islam talks about this in so much detail as well. So the term khawf has been mentioned several times in the Quran. In Surah Al-Insan, As-Sajda, Ali Imran. And it talks about raja is also mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah. And according to Imam Ghazali and Gustaywan, it talks about motivation as the feeling of fear and hope as a drive to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by choosing the right path. So if you're having this balance and it's not connecting you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and keeping you close to Him, then it's something wrong. You either have one, and if you have too much fear, then you're not going to do anything because you just got fear all the time. If you've got too much hope, you're going to do everything and anything because you just think, oh, you know what, it's just about Allah, forgive me. So it's this false understanding, a false perception of what is right and what is wrong. And again, Shaitan is very clever on how he deceives us. And he puts these things in our past that, and Shaitan's, remember, he's just going to put his hands up on the day of judgment and say, well, I didn't tell you to. I didn't say anything. You just did it because you wanted to do it. And when we don't have that true connection, our heart and our soul sways from one end to the other. Okay? In fact, based on this notion, several Muslim researchers use this idea in explaining motivation, variety of knowledge, especially in management. And again, I'm talking about those who are leaders, those who are, management doesn't necessarily mean workplace. Management is even if you're looking after your own children. That's a form of management, leadership. Similarly, with Western motivation theory, reward and punishment, the concept of khawf or raja is the same. They don't really have this concept of khawf or raja in Maslow's hierarchy, for example, or Hizbut or XY theory. They don't have this concept of khawf or raja. So this is why it doesn't truly work for the Muslim Ummah. To avoid a punishment, they will avoid the bad deeds, while to get reward, they will maintain the good deeds. Yes, so, you know, we have that concept that about punishment and reward, but is it really about punishment and reward, or is it really to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how we do that? Because when we connect, we'll automatically do good deeds, and when we'll automatically refrain from bad deeds. Okay, and bad deeds and good deeds are perception. So who defines what is a good deed and who defines what is a bad deed? And we have to look in the Quran and Sunnah to understand that. However, the difference between reward and punishment with khawf or raja, or the feeling of afraid and hope for reward, is only for Allah. And again, see, this is why it's from Allah. The hadith below also explains in the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, if a believer knows the torment which is with Allah, then he would not expect at all to go to heaven. So if you have fear, oh, you know, I used to drink, or I used to do this, I used to do that, I used to commit sins, I killed someone. And if with that fear, you lose hope, then you're going to carry on committing sins. Okay, because you think, well, I'm going to go to hell anyway, I might as well carry on. But if you've got an element of hope and you look at the prison population, okay, those who are, and they've repented, and when the ulamas or scholars and people who go and speak to them and say, look, there's a mercy of Allah. No matter what you've done, accept Islam. Do tawbah. Allah is always merciful. Allah is all forgiving. And we see the story where the person who had committed 99, killed 99 people. And he went to a particular priest and said, you committed 99, no, you're going to go to hell, right? And then he met a scholar and said, I've committed 100 things. Is there any repentance for me? So he said, go to this particular place, and wherever you go, inshallah, and then your repentance will be there. So as he was going, inshallah, he died. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looked at, told the angels to measure where he was going. And then they measured, was he more close to his destination, or he was more close to original point. And then he was more close to his destination, so Allah forgave him. And so it doesn't matter what sins you've committed, Allah is all merciful and all forgiving. It's really important that we understand that. And if the unbeliever knows that there is a grace in the sight of Allah, he will not give up anything for him to enter paradise. And again, the mindset has to be that balance between khawf wa raja. Trump is just hot air, he's not a president, he's a puppet. But that's not the point I was trying to, the point I was trying to make was that, it's an age thing. It doesn't matter what age you are, age is just a number. We will be getting a recording session, please. Yes, absolutely. I always send you those emails, or it's going to be on the website anyway. Okay, so again, it's important to have that particular balance. And then the divine motivation, this is really crucial, and I would suggest you all write this down with a pen and piece of paper as well. Another theory of motivation in Islamic perspective that has been proposed by Khair 2014 consists of 3 elements such as faith. So you have to have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, then the second one is religious intent and purpose, and third is determination. Without any of the 3, you can't have divine motivation. So based on his grounded theory, this divine motivation has been proposed in equation form. So divine motivation is where you truly connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're so motivated that you want to do things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not regardless of what anyone else thinks. So first thing is you have to have faith, you have to have iman. Okay, then you have the intention. Yes, I want to pray my salah every single day. I want to pray tahajjud every single day. So you make all the provisions, again, purpose, all the provisions to say, yes, I'm going to set my alarm. I'm going to put on a reminder. I'm going to ensure that when I'm praying, I'm truly motivated and connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, and it's determination. Determination is, yes, it's going to be a cold winter morning and you're going to have to get up. So put your radiator on. So the house is warm. So you're getting up, and then you're starting off with, wait for the water, using hot water and so forth. And then once you start building that, and again, don't think after a week, you think, I'm really tired. Take a couple of days break. Don't force yourself because you're just going to go to a negative state again. Have a break and start again. I'm not talking about farais, I'm talking about sunan and nawafil and tahajjud and everything else. So sometimes give yourself a break. Don't feel guilty. And again, this guilt is the manifestation of either khawf or raja. Okay? You're thinking, I was doing all this ibadah, I can't do all this ibadah. So you lost hope that, but why are you, if you're doing less ibadah, it doesn't matter as long as you got the intention. We talked about religious intention. And it's about being consistent. Do something which makes you happy. Don't do things which is laborious and a chore for you. Okay, so these 3 things, faith, religious intentions and purpose, and determination, has to go hand in hand. Okay, and if they don't, you're not going to have that divine motivation. And again, it's really important as well. So according to Khair 2014, multiplication operation is used to indicate the importance variable that affect the existence of divine motivation. Thus, based on the equation, if I, which is faith, is 0, so you don't have faith, but then you can't have divine motivation because you don't have faith. Okay? If you don't have religious intention, purpose, then you can't have divine motivation. If you don't have determination, you have faith, you have full iman, you have intention, I'm going to wake up for Fajr, but then I can't be bothered getting out of bed. Then again, you're not going to have the divine motivation. Okay, so it's really important that all 3 work in tandem together. So it shows that there's divine motivation if they lack one of the aspects. So motivation, true divine motivation is intention, faith, plus times religious intentions, times determination as well. Okay, and the more faith you have, the more, you know, really focus intentions that you have, the more, inshallah, you will succeed, inshallah al-aziz. So in conclusion, both Islamic motivation theory emphasizes on reason and process to stimulate human action in order to achieve the needs in life. Even though the Western theory did include spiritual and intrinsic aspect in their theory, e.g. Maslow's needs, expectancy needs, and intrinsic needs, the discussion of the spiritual religious aspect wasn't there. Do not match with Islamic perspective notion. So again, like I said to you, that connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it doesn't exist in those as well. And going down, as shown above, we learned several aspects that are emphasized by Islamic perspectives of faith, determination, good deed, and intention. Uniquely, those aspects cannot be explained by Western theory alone without referring to the religious beliefs. So again, what does Islam say? What is our religiousness saying to us, the spirituality? Truthfully, there are several aspects that need to discover in deep, such as itqan, neatness. So in order to truly be, you can't be, uncleanliness, because, you're not going to be able to, because purity is part of faith. Then ihsan, charity, are you donating? Not only, if you can't donate, are you using free stuff? Are you going helping out in charity for a day? Are you doing that, yes or no? Sincerity, are you truly doing it for the sake of Allah, or you want to gain fame? Or like, yeah, I'll get a reward or a certificate or a prize. Are you doing it for the sake of Allah? Yeah, not saying, oh, I've lifted 5 boxes today, that person's lifted 10 boxes. No, your intention is, I'm going to do this for the sake of Allah. I'm going to do these food banks for the sake of Allah. I'm going to help and clean the center for the sake of Allah. I'm going to do this, go to the masjid and clean for the sake of Allah. Not gaining any reward, or everyone says, wow, you're an amazing person. Okay, everyone wants to be successful and achieve their needs. However, Muslim success means getting Allah to bless you by doing the good deed and avoiding the bad deed. Any work without intention for Allah is not recognized. This is because the degree of human dignity for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is judged not by the rank, descent, skin color, or appearance. The real value of human existence as a Khalifa on earth is through the faith. Again, this is mentioned in Qamus and Abdul Hamid 2009 by saying by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Quran in Surah Hujurat. And again, it's really, really important as well. Okay, I'm going to move on. Just going through some of the motivation Islamic course that will get you Islam. So I'm just going to kind of read through this, but I'm going to continue this inshallah the week after. So part 4 of this inshallah will be continuing after Hajj inshallah. So motivation Islamic course that will get you out of a soul-sucking slump. Why do we do this? In other words, when you've got a particular activity, okay, why are you doing this? And the second one is, why do we wait for a wave of motivation to hit us so we can get our lazy self off the slumpy boat? Why do we need to have an incentive? Why do we need to, like for example, we go to work. Imagine you change your mindset by saying, I'm going to work because I'm going to benefit the ummah. I'm going to do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, and the money is going to be a byproduct to that. You'll see that when you go, you will give 100% in your work. You will go on time, you'll finish on time, you'll be motivated, you'll be smiling. That will rub off on your colleagues. Your boss says, oh, can you do this? Yeah, sure. Do it with a smile on your face. You've done one project, second project, third project. You're going to be indispensable to that particular job, workplace. And then when you go in and say, oh, by the way, I'm moving on because I'm getting a better salary because they give me a third, your boss will be in shock. Like, you can't leave. I need you. So and then said, right, okay, are you willing to match, the salary or pay me more? Yeah, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you this. And I've done that in my workplace. When I was in one particular school, I gave my resignation in and I said, look, I think I've taken the school as far as I can take it. The school is now stabilized. You've got your staff. The staff know what to do. I think bring someone in. If you just want to maintain what it is, you don't need to pay me this. If you want me to take it to the next step, these are my terms and conditions. And they agreed. They absolutely agreed because they had no choice. So again, you become so indispensable to that particular workforce. So again, don't go there with the mindset of, oh, I got to go to work today. Wake up in the morning, get in your car, read the Quran, put the Quran on in your car, be truly motivated. Think of amazing things you're going to do today. So for example, you could take in a cake for everyone, right? Or you can take in drinks for everyone. Okay, or you can then go to the boss and say, oh, I just wanted to ask how you're doing. No, I'm working, so I just wanted to ask. Go to someone who's really down in the dumps, feeling really upset. Just go and sit with them. Oh, I'd like to sit with you. I'd like to buy you lunch today. Yeah, I just want to know how you're feeling. I saw that you're really, you're really upset. I see that no one talks to you. When I was in Saudi Arabia, we used to have the workers from India, Pakistan, Philippines, and so forth. I used to invite the workers into my office, and I used to give them all the, halwas and the sweets and the chocolates. And they used to be like, everyone used to be like, but why are you giving it to them? I said, because they are as part of my team. They are as integral as part of my team. If they hadn't cleaned, we wouldn't be sitting here. And the amazing thing of this was that, my workers they used to like, anytime we say, Sheikh, this call me Sheikh. Sheikh, do you want tea? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? Do you want that? And I even heard that some of them used to spend their own money to get me coffee and tea when the coffee and tea used to run out. Because they knew that they're going to get 100. It's not because, I didn't need to give it to them. I didn't expect it. So they didn't expect me to give them anything. So I used to say to them, right, today I don't want to clean. I'm going to get my year 11s to clean and see, because it's about, what lessons I'm teaching my year 11s. And they used to sit there and they used to, some of them used to have tears that you're the only person in the last, I don't know how many years, that has treated us this way. So again, it's not about you and your colleagues, it's about you and Allah. Imagine you can change one person's life by saying, don't clean that today, I'll clean it. So my desk, I used to have a huge desk when I was in Saudi. And I said to them, leave me some, cleaning products, I'll clean it myself. And they couldn't fathom that. They couldn't understand that. Like, you're such a person. I'm not just like kind of boasting or anything like that. The point I'm trying to make is I did it because my intention was cleanliness. And I like cleanliness anyway. And air freshener, I used to have air fresheners and all that kind of stuff in my office. And sometimes you just come in, I just put air freshener. I don't have to call, can you bring so-and-so? Can you tell him to do this? Can you to do that? And sometimes it's just we take the initiative, and it's about using every single person. And in my school in London, where kids used to throw it on the floor, I said, what do you think? These cleaners are your slaves? Is that what Islam teaches us? And if I saw any student throwing litter on the floor, they would get 3 weeks, break, lunch, and after school, where they had to go and tidy up. I used to give them the gloves. So they understood how demeaning is when you throw it on the floor expecting the cleaner to clean. It's not the cleaner's fault. Maybe they've got certain things or issues which they might be doing a fourth job. You never know. So, it's about respect and things like that as well. But it's about our motivation. Even if you're cleaning, have amazing motivation and so forth as well. We become immovable boulders buried under the weight of our own lethargy. And again, just by having the motivation mindset, you do 30% more. I'll say if you need constant motivation, you lack discipline. This is the biggest problem I've seen with adults, with children, family members, even entrepreneurs. It's about that discipline. Every single day, you sit up and saying, right, I'm going to do this at this time. Not necessarily the timing, but timing creates habits. Waking up for Fajr, read the Quran straight after Fajr, do a good deed first thing in the morning. It'll just boost your morale first thing in the morning. Yeah, and then before Zuhr, go early to the masjid if you can, or just sit. And you don't have to sit in the musalla for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Yeah, and just talk to Allah. Read the Quran, talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just like me and you are talking. Just talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, today I don't feel that well today. Yalla, like, I know you're Ghafurur Rahim. Mention his names. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even shows us amazingly, like I said, Quran's got all the answers. If you look at Surah Fatiha, Allah shows us how to talk to him. Okay? So Allah says, look, I love a bit of sweet talking. So we say, Alhamdulillah, Bismillah, A'udhu Minash Shaitanir Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So what we're doing here is all the benevolent, the merciful. We're praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you sit in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praise him. Ya Allah, you're Ghafurur Rahim, you're Malik al-Quddus, you're Malik Yawmiddin, you're Rahman Ar-Rahim, you're Rabbul Alameen. Praise him. Okay, so Allah shows us that if you want something from me, Surah Fatiha is the answer. praise me. So we say Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, and then you say Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Allah, now you want something from Allah. Say Iyyaka na'budu, Ya Allah, look, I'm worshiping you. And only from you I'm going to seek sustenance and help and assistance. Yeah. So again, it's part now asking and part ibadah. So you're saying to Allah that you're the one who's giver, you're the all giver. I'm only asking from you. Then you say, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, Allah, guide me to the straight path. So now that's vague. It's slightly vague because straight path, what does that mean? And then Allah then talks about focus. And we're looking at Imam Ghazali's videos of 5 senses. You've got to block out the noise. You've got to block out all the chit chatter. You've got to block out all the negativity and people saying you can't do this and you can't do that. Okay, so you clear out your senses, and what you do is you focus on what you want. But is that what you want in line with your values, in line with, is it conflicting with anything in your life? Okay, and you focus and you make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you say, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, Allah, guide me to the straight path. And then your focus is saying, Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim, ghayri maghdubi alayhim wala dhalin, ameen. And you say, Ameen, may Allah accept it. So it has to be focused. It can't just be, Allah, get me out of debt. Okay, that's a negative state, negative thinking, negative unconscious mind. You say, Allah, help me grow a business. What will happen? You'll grow a business, you'll make money, or automatically you'll reduce your debt. Your husband's not praying salah. Oh Allah, make my whole, not just my husband, my family, my children, make my whole community to a certain state where inshallah everyone's practicing. So everywhere you go, like for example in Saudi, right? When you go for Hajj Umrah, you automatically go to the Haramain. Yes, you can say I'm only going for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but I've lived in the Middle East. You're sleeping and you hear the Fajr Azan. You just automatically get up. It's Zohar time, you hear the Zohar Azan. You automatically want to go to the masjid. And some of the Azans, Mu'adhins are absolutely like, wow. I mean, like it blows you away. And some of the Qur'ans that, even Fajr, some of the surahs in Saudi, they pray, not here like 2-3 minutes. They have long salats, like 5, 10, sometimes 15 minutes. But you just don't want to leave. Because the Imam, mashallah, the Imams are truly connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you speak to them, wow, the amazing, some of the lectures that they give, the talks and the hadith and the Quran. And when they recite the Quran, wow, it's just like blows you away. So, and you could stand there for hours and hours and hours and hours. And you don't have a problem. You're thinking, wow, where did that time go? Because you're truly motivated. Okay? Let's put some on the chat section. Yeah, the lack of discipline statement is spot on. Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest problem we have with children is parents don't have discipline. I'm sorry to say parents, but parents don't have discipline or lack discipline. Therefore, the children are modeling that from the parents as well. So if you're slacking in your salah, you're slacking in your ibadah, when you do things at home, so when you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're mumbling, the children pick that up, and then the children get that as well. If you're on your mobile phone all the time, your children are going to be on the mobile phone all the time. If you're going to be shouting and screaming, the children are going to be shouting and screaming. If you're calm, collective, and so forth, the children are going to be calm, collective, and so forth. Okay? So remember, look yourself in the mirror. And inshallah, you will see that 50, 60, 70, 80% of how you are is going to be instilled in your children also. Okay? With that said, even the most disciplined can get sucked in an inactive slump. In that case, Islamic way of helping each other brush off and get up. So always now learn this, brush off, get up. Brush off and get up. Somebody comes up to you and says, you're stupid, you can't do this. Brush off, get up. Yes, Jazakallah, thank you for your opinion, but Allah doesn't create anything in vain. Remember, Rabbana ma khalaqta hadha batila. Repeat after me. Rabbana ma khalaqta hadha batila or batilan. Okay? Or Rabbana, my Lord, ma khalaqta does not create hadha batila, anything in vain. It does not. So He's created you, you're perfect. In every single sense, but you have to believe that. It doesn't matter if you've got, bent nose or big ears or, blue hair or you're, large in complexion or you're dark or you're white skinned or you're whatever. You're tall, you're thin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not create anything in vain. So you're perfect. So remember that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that. So Allah's got a purpose and a why for you. Not everyone can be accountants, because who's going to clean the streets? And in fact, you might be the biggest Shaykh al-Hadith without intention, but you might be, or you might be a person who is cleaning the masjid, with humbleness. That is more to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than that person who's got no intention. Okay, so brush off and get up. Quranic verse, Rabbana ma khalaqta hadha batila, Rabbana ma khalaqta hadha batila. You are beautiful. You are where we spend a lot of time. It's in your kitchen, put them on your board or something, or on your desk, or on your, and whatever you want to. I'm in the following order for a reason. A line triggered that rusty thought process back into action. Got some comments. Sounds gone. Sounds gone. Okay. Not sure why the sound's gone. It's back. Okay, my apologies. Sounds back again. Okay, so the first one. Okay, everyone can hear. So my apologies for that. So the first, the Prophet ﷺ mentions there are two blessings which people lose. They are health and free time for doing good. Okay, so you've got good health and you've got free time, like we have in COVID. Okay, then use that to your maximum benefit. The brutal truth is that we are free, we are too lazy. It's all about procrastination. And if you're still procrastinating, listen to my two webinars that I did prior to these ones. To get up and do some good. And when that free time is taken from us, we will say we're busy. Oh, we got work, I've got to look after my children. No. When you had the time, when you were single, you didn't do it in the first place. If you had done that in these actions in your free time when you were single, when you had the time, you would continue this after marriage as well. We are only deceiving ourselves into thinking that we are the victims of time, when in reality we are the victims of our lazy nafs. It isn't easy to beat laziness and be proactive. I feel your pain, I do. So here's a dua for getting rid of laziness and some other things. Okay, so number one is, if you want, take a print screen and read this consistently every single day. Oh Allah, I seek refuge with you from worry and grief, from incapacity and laziness, from cowardice and miserliness, from being heavily in debt, and from being overpowered by other men. Allahumma inni, so repeat after me. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal-hazani wal-ajzi wal-kasali wal-jubni wal-bukhli wa-dhala'id-daini wa-ghalabatir rijal. Read this dua every time you feel like you need an energy drink. So again, it's not just about doing things positively, also make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like I mentioned. Connect to shuyuk. If you're not connected to shuyuk, then you need to find someone. Okay? A point to note here is that you only seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from things that are making you uncomfortable and causing you pain. This dua makes laziness and incapacity as a form of pain a big problem. It's not something as bland as I feel sleepy or I feel tired. It's something to keep at bay. And this dua will help you just do that. Okay, so really, really important that we understand that. Number three, when a man says, I cannot, he has made a suggestion to himself. He has weakened his power of accomplishment that which otherwise would have been accomplished. This is Muhammad Ali, the famous boxer. Okay, you say you can't, and it's no longer a mystery that you won't. The first step to achieving anything is believing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the capacity to do it. The second step is to put sincere effort into it, to work for it. And the last step is to have tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you say you can't, you've already lost. You never give yourself a chance. Some of you, like I've spoken to you, or I can't do this and I can't do that. You've already lost. You've been defeated before you even started. It's like Muhammad Ali who used to say that if I was a dustbin cleaner, I'd be the best dustbin cleaner in the world. So it's how you do one thing is how you do everything. Number 4, indeed Allah will not change the condition of a people and they change what is in themselves. Okay, so if you want to have change, you've got to change yourself first. And Allah will change everyone around you, all the people around you, your children and your husband and your wife and everyone. Okay, so are you waiting for the right moment to take the first step towards change, or maybe you're waiting for someone else to help you? Excuses. It's just excuses. If you can't get up and help yourself, why would someone else help bothering you? If you can't do it, why should someone else help you? Think about that every time you wish someone around you, you should drag you out of a slum. You don't need anyone to motivate you. You should have the motivation yourself. And when you get this into a mindset, you'll achieve amazing things. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only one who is truly in power, says he won't help you unless you help yourself. You can ask Allah ta'ala to give you strength and patience, but the active work can only be done by you and you alone. Okay. Where can I find these webinars? I'd appreciate a link. Jazakallah khair. Send me a message, send me an email. I'll give you a link to all the previous webinars, but it's also on the website as well, which I'll show you in a bit, inshallah. Okay, I'm going to pause here because I want to go towards, inshallah, the other courses which are coming about. Yeah, just talking about Zakah Sadaqah Lillah. Please, 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 everyone can donate. We've got this program, this project at the moment, which is on our website. We're trying to raise £3,800. I'd really appreciate if every one of you can donate even 10, 15, 20 pounds. Our target is 3,800. And inshallah, the local council will match us with another extra £10,000. We can help nearly 400 people with that as well, 200 food packs extra and 200 education packs. Okay, so please, please donate. Message me for that one. Or you can do it to the next slide, which I'm going to talk to you about. You can give Sadaqah Zakat Lillah, and we will match fund that as well. So it's PayPal.Raid Institute. Every single 20 people that have attended today, I'm expecting, inshallah, every single one of you to then donate towards this cause. Not sure if I can hear you. Yeah, inshallah, I will do that, inshallah, Saada. It's all on website as well. So please, could you donate as much as you can? If you've got your zakah, your sadaqah lillah, please forward that to us as well. Really appreciate it. Our target this year, inshallah, like I said, is to raise £300,000. But this small amounts, we are applying for loads of funding. I'm spending most of my time and date over the last, 14 sessions that I've done. I've applied for nearly 17 grants for the charity, and inshallah, that's to help the ummah, purely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. Okay, really important that going to the next step is we've established 2006, we've done amazing, we've helped, nearly 10,000 people across inside inception in 2006. We want to really now promote it on a whole new level. I'm connecting with so many people. I've spoken to the chief exec in Leicester City Council as well, and so many different corporate people as well to support this project. We've got some amazing things coming, inshallah, post August 2020. Our Centre of Excellence will be opening in mid-August. Please spread the word out. Those who are in Leicester, we've got a home education, we've got our tuition, we've got a madrasa starting up in mid-August as well. If you want to donate towards a food pack and things like that as well, donate towards that. This is the project I'm looking for to raise £300,000. We need 300 people. Please, 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 every single one of you, most of you been coming to the program every week, and inshallah, I'm only asking as a humble request. This is not forcing you or pressuring you. You're still going to be doing all these free sessions for you. But imagine you went somewhere else and they would charge you hundreds, if not thousands of pounds for the same thing. So don't give it to me, give it to the project as well. That's what I'm hoping for, inshallah, and we can benefit the ummah together. We can create the environment together. We want to change the landscape here in Leicester, inshallah. So let's start off with Leicester, then we can go to the rest of the country and to the rest of the world. It's about having that hope, and inshallah, as much as we can. Yeah, so those who have just logged in late, please send your email addresses to get your free gifts. I'll be sending you I've already sent you emails for the donations and the courses and everything else as well. And I'll be sending you some more emails over the coming weeks also. Testimonials, Jazakallah for all those who keep on sending you regular testimonials and feedback as well. Let me know what else you want to discuss. And inshallah, I will do that. I will go forward and I will design a course for you or a session for you to discuss that. Maybe 1 session, 2 sessions, maybe 3 sessions, inshallah. The main course I'm delivering, a marriage course. If you're already married, fantastic. Please join the, join the webinar. The course starting the 15th. The first session will be the introduction session, will be a face-to-face at our Center of Excellence. Then we've got 2 other face-to-face sessions and 7 webinars. Inshallah, it will transform you to find your perfect partner, inshallah. And you will see that person because that person will come to you, okay? Because at the moment, you might be clouded. If your marriage is good, okay, and you want it to be brilliant, come on to this course. Because the things you will learn, if both husband and wife both can come, the things you will learn will transform you, inshallah al-aziz. Okay, and I've helped countless amount of people in their marriages just by giving them even small snippets, and those small, hacks have actually transformed their marriage. And I gave you an example last week as well. Okay, so again, if you want, connect with me on this, inshallah, and I will send you the details on this. It's on I always put it on it's on our WhatsApp groups, it's on our Facebooks, on our Twitter, Instagram. You'll see it across all our platforms as well. This is why I connect to all the social media platforms. You can just connect. I would also be really grateful if all 20 of you would fill in this form questionnaire, just so that we know type of people. That doesn't mean you have to attend the course. If you want to attend the course, you need to sign up with this link here, inshallah. Okay. One of you mentioned about resources for kids and yourselves for Hajj. You can take a snapshot of this, but I'll also be emailing you this, inshallah, either today or tomorrow. So you can use this. Some of these resources are really good. I'm just going to be showing you the websites. So you've got this one here. 15 ways to Hajj may come alive for kids and teens. Really, really good website. Map it, read and discuss a Hajj diary, movie night Hajj, watch the IMAX film, The Journey to Mecca in the Footsteps of Ibn Battuta, organize a practice Hajj, get ihram on and so forth. You've got a second website, which is here, Hajj for Kids, 10 activities learn about Hajj. It's really, really good website. Started the story of Hajj, the maps and everything, get them to do coloring, painting, build the Kaaba and so forth. And it's the third one. Again, this has got so many resources as well. 3 amazing websites. It's got all the information anyway. And I'll be going through some of this, inshallah. And this is like download the Hajj and fact sheets and all that kind of stuff as well. Okay, so again, I'll be sending you those links anyway. If you want the links, these are the links anyway, inshallah. Please do take a snapshot, or I'll be sending you this via email also. Which charity section is the council matching? Sorry, I'm confused which it's give to. Oh, it says. So if you go onto the website, let me. So if you go on to, I'm just going to share the screen with you again. If you go onto the website here, you've got home, what we do, Rating Institute, some of the things we do, events, latest courses, we've got the fundraising projects. If you click on to any one of these, inshallah, we'll get the funding through, okay? Or you can do it directly through PayPal. So any one of these will have the match funding, inshallah al-aziz. Okay, so fundraising projects and any one of these, this is a 300K. It talks about what we're doing, everything that we're doing as well. Inshallah, this website will be revamped and everyone that's donated, your name will be on the website as well, and so forth as well. Okay, so this Hajj, Hajj for all. I'd also like you all to take a snapshot of this, please. Give me a second. Okay, take a snapshot of this, put it on your phone, print it out, put it as a poster. And these are the days of Hajj. I also want you all read this as much as you can over the next 10 days. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. Okay? Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. So please consistently and constantly read this as much as you can as well, inshallah. I'm at your service. The translation, I'm at your service, Wallah. I am at your service. You have no partner. I am at your service. Praise and blessings belong to you and the kingdom. You have no partner. Such a beautiful invocation, such a beautiful dua, inshallah. So take a snapshot of this as well. Put it on your phone. If your kids got it, put it on your kids' phone. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family. Send it to everyone that you can send to. And inshallah, if everyone reads, you will gain the reward for that as well. Okay. Sounds gone again. I'm not sure why that's happening. Can anyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Type in chat. Yes, it's back. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe it's the internet connection or something similar to that. Okay, that's before I kind of finish. I'd like you to. I've got any questions? Then inshallah, you can unmute your mic or just put into the chat section, inshallah, and I will try and answer your questions. Anyone got any questions? You're supposed to be interactive with me today, asking me more questions, alhamdulillah. But let's inshallah, it'll benefit. As long as it's benefiting you, that's the main thing. Again, have your intention. What is your intention for coming into this webinar or these sessions? Have an intention that what you're learning here, you're going to implement that in your life. It's about change your focus, change your mindset, get rid of the noise. Okay? Don't let anyone say to you, you cannot do this. Okay, those of you in my coaching session who are procrastinating, please book your sessions in. Inshallah, let's get moving. Let's get doing this. Let's get you to change your life. Let's get you to become and reach your full potential. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can achieve anything you want because every single second of your life is valuable, and every single second of your life can turn into ibadah, inshallah al-aziz. And it's how you perceive life to be. Positive mindset, positive action. Can you do a marriage on webinar, webinar on marriage, inshallah, on how one should approach it? Come to my sessions, inshallah. It's not as easy as me just doing a session because it's a process. And I think it's really important that you go through the process, that you, like your perfect partner, your perfect person, you aren't married, might be in front of you, but you can't see it because you don't know what you're looking for. Okay, so anyone got any questions? How does one grow confidence but not lose the quality of shyness? There's a difference between confidence, arrogance, being egotistical, being pompous. It's how is your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And what is your, always remember the intent and purpose. What is your intention and purpose? If your intention is to do something good for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and your focus is that, regardless of what anyone says, then it's your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though people might perceive it to be, oh, look at this guy, he thinks he knows everything. Look at this sister here, she thinks she doesn't wear hijab. How is she, why is she lecture us? You don't know what that sister or that brother or that person's journey is. So take face value of what they're saying, not who's saying it. And in Arabic, there's a saying as well, always look at the person is what they're saying, not what they are, not who's saying it. Like, for example, even shaitan, subhanallah, will sometimes give you advice, good advice. They will say to you, like, for example, if you are going to the masjid or something similar to that, and you're consistently going to the masjid, and one day, you have an intention to, right, I'm going to go to the masjid today, I'm going to clean the entire masjid. I'm going to do tahajjud for 2 hours, I'm going to read like 10 juz, and that's the intention to go to masjid. And then what shaitan will do is think, wow, this guy, man, he's on a roll today, or this sister, she's on a roll today. I need to do something about it, but I can't, it's too powerful because they're too connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what they're going to say, shaitan is going to come to you and say, you know what, forget today, you're tired, this and that, just read Ayatul Kursi. And then you think to yourself, yeah, I'm a bit tired today, this and that, I'm going to read Ayatul Kursi. So even shaitan is giving you this information because you're going to be doing this amazing thing. And I think we get a similarity, a similar story like that in the hadith as well. It's important that we understand that, we need to be We need to have the confidence, because we can't just be like slouching. Oh, you know, I can't do this. I don't want to go to that imam. What will the imam think of me? I can't go to ask that sister about how to pray salah. That sister might judge me. I can't go to Brother Maulana Muhammad because he might judge me. I can't go. No, you need to get rid of that shyness. So shyness is where you have the haya. The haya is good, especially in women, the haya is good. But when it comes to deen and the propagation of deen and to promote yourself, the inner self, your inner core and your mindset, there's no haya there. The Sahabas used to travel miles, hundreds, if not thousands of miles. Women used to come into the majlis of the Prophet ﷺ, ask questions. They used to ask questions like, imagine the Sahabas used to come and ask the Prophet ﷺ, Ya Allah, I stole something. Ya Allah, committed zina. Ya Allah, I did this. And we saw the story of Hanzala radiallahu ta'ala, who says, Nafaka Hanzala. Hanzala radiallahu ta'ala became a hypocrite. And he tied himself to a pillar in the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he explained, like, this is how I'm feeling. So even their feelings, they used to explain, they used to ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, Ya Allah, I'm getting, the Prophet of Allah, I'm getting negative feeling. When I'm with you, I feel I'm in Jannah. When I go home, I feel like I can see heaven and hell. When I get home, I can't see the same feeling. And we see stories like, one of the Sahabis came to the Umar ibn al-Khattab, and he saw that his wife was having a go at him, and he's saying, if Amir al-Mu'minin states like this, what's my state? So they are human beings, but we need to understand his knowledge. We need to understand what did the Sahabas do, and have that patience and that sabr. So shyness is good. The quality of shyness is amazing. Okay, but when it comes to deen, you ask. If you don't know how to pray salah, ask. If you don't know how to give zakah, ask. If you want to do good deeds, what's the word to judge you? Going to judge you. It's not for you and them. It's about your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? Your focus has to be, is this for the true purpose of Allah? If it is, then bring questions. Okay, I've left the PayPal on. I'm expecting, inshallah, every single one of you to donate even just £1. If you can't donate more, 30, 40, 50, 100, amazing, Allah reward you, inshallah. I will ensure that all your donations go towards the true purposes, inshallah, and I'll keep you updated of everything that's happening as well. And you can also see the website, inshallah. All that will be on our website soon as well, when we've revamped the new website as well. Do not think even £1 is nothing. £1 is about your intention. That's all you might be able to give. Even now, mashallah, we have brothers and sisters that do regularly donate £1 a week, mashallah. Okay, so do not be shy on that as well. This is where you're not shy. Yes, account details are here. Direct bank transfer, Radiant Institute, HSBC Bank, sort code account, sort code 401204, account number 71706802802. Or you can send a check to Radiant Institute. If you want, just message me. I'll send you the details, address of our charity, and you can also send that as well. Inshallah, I'll post this to you as well. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this session as well. And again, next week, again, is going to be a women and children session where we're going to be doing activities, inshallah, over the next couple of hours. So I'll send you all the resources beforehand. Print out the resources if you can, and then we'll be doing all these activities, inshallah, on next Wednesday. Saturday, I'm doing that global conference again, inshallah. I'll send you that link if I'm available this Saturday, so I'll do that link, inshallah, and then we'll take it further from there. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's make dua. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma tassalam wa minka salam fahayyana rabbana bisalam tabarak ya zal jalal wal ikram. Allahumma rabbana hab lana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata a'yun waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. Allahumma rabbi irhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Allahumma hasibna hisaban yasira. Allahumma insalaka al-huda wa at-taqa wal afafa wal ghina. Allahumma arhamna bil Qur'an al-azim. Allahumma anas wahshatina fi quburina. Allahumma arhamna bil Qur'an al-azim. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. So just leaving the bank transfer, please, if you could share these webinars and sessions with all your friends, colleagues, families, and also invite one person for next week, inshallah. There's going to be an amazing one next week. Really truly learn about Hajj and the purpose and the intent of Hajj. It's not going to be like normal, I'm just going to go through the procedure with you. Also, inshallah, if you can leave a testimonial, I'll leave this on for another minute also, where you can just write it, you can just write it on here as well, inshallah. Jazakumullah, ahsanul jaza, wa akhira da'wana, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.